Hello everyone, welcome to the Circuit Paul Ricard. It's round 5 of the Ferrari Challenge for our 2024 calendar. What a calendar it has been, what racing we have seen. And we are here in the south of France, where the surroundings are beautiful and the weather is too. It's scene setting for brilliant racing from our Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. We've been to Mugello, to Balaton, to Jerez in Spain, to Portimao in Portugal. Here we are in the south of France before we head off to Germany. And then the final round at Imola in Italy for round 7 at the midpoint of October. So this track here then, the Paul Ricard circuit, which was built in 1969. But first race was held here in 1970. 5.842 kilometers, 15 turns, 6 left, 9 right. We're about 50 kilometers from Marseille, and it's a real test, this circuit, for our Ferrari Challenge drivers, whether Trofeo Pirelli or Trofeo Pirelli AM. And the track temperature is an unbelievable 53 degrees. A frying egg on that tarmac. 33 degrees is the air temperature, and the wind is about 9 kilometers per hour at the moment, gusting, which is just taking the edge off the air temperature a little bit. And what a packed grid it is of Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. Absolutely fantastic to see. The atmosphere here in the south of France is truly electric for Ferrari Challenge racing. A huge grid of cars, of some 26 of them across the Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers that will be doing battle. And battle royale it will be around this 5.842 kilometer circuit. Alongside me, Nico Spalek. I mean, talk about look forward to a race, my goodness me.
Yeah, yesterday's race was I'm beyond words. It was so action-packed, and you wouldn't even notice where to start with the highlights. So that was really something. And if today is anything like that, both in Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli, and we're really in for a treat.
So, as you can see, the grid is a very, very busy place indeed. Now, just so that you can identify, because we have two categories racing in the one race. We have our Pirelli drivers who have a red strip across the top of the windscreen, and we have our Pirelli AM drivers who race with a white strip across the top of the windscreen. It makes it easy for you to identify who's doing what and where and which category that they are racing in. The front row contains Giacomo Altoe and Luca Ludwig, and going from pole position for our Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers, it will be Klaus Zibranson. Now, irrespective of whether you're racing in Pirelli or Pirelli AM, the grid gets mixed up, and the grid is actually the total result of qualifying. So qualifying took place earlier on today, and whoever qualified, wherever they qualified, that's where they start, irrespective of whether they're a Pirelli or a Pirelli AM driver. Basically, that means they all get mixed up, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. And Klaus Zibranson, our pole setter in the AMs, really did a very good job. He's in P6 overall, and he's got two Pirelli drivers right behind him, Dylan Madler and Philip Barron, who arguably is a little bit out of position, as well as Max Mugello, who's only in P13 overall. So he's got a relatively comfortable position because the next competitors in class, Henrik Viol and Andrew Morrow, are a few spots behind him.
Real advantage to Klaus Zibranson, doesn't it? He's got that kind of double Trofeo Pirelli cushion behind him before the next, as you say, Pirelli AM driver, which will be, as you say, Hendrik Viol from Scuderia Prague Racing. So there you can see tyre trolleys being moved out, and there we can see as we zoom in onto some of the cars down here, including Gianmarco Mazzuletti that we can see there. The number 12 car, beautiful colours, and it is truly a wonderful, wonderful sight to see all these cars on the Paul Ricard circuit here. So looking forward to this race. A new duration for 2024. The races are 30 minutes plus 1 lap. And we're under 5 minutes away from the race start getting underway. So yeah, very much looking forward to this race as we look at the Ferrari of Miami and the collection car and driver combo of Dylan Medler. There's Dylan's partner, Juliet, you can see there just in the background. And Dylan Medler then racing in not only the Ferrari Challenge North America, but also choosing to come and pit himself up against the European stars in the Ferrari Challenge as well. And Dylan, you're a very welcome addition to the grid. It's great to see you here. As we take a look at some of the final stages of preparation before the lights go out and we go racing. The Richard Mills safety car then standing by to lead the cars away. As always, it is a rolling start in the Ferrari Challenge. Giacomo Altoe then, who has been very, very quick in the Ferrari Challenge this year and is one of the young drivers that are really making headroads in motor racing. He's taken 5 wins in Ferrari Challenge this year, and when he hasn't won, he's certainly still been on the podium as well. And of course, not only young men racing, but young ladies racing in the Ferrari Challenge as well. And Lilou Verdou is here this weekend as well.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Lilou Verdou. I'm Ferrari official driver, and I am here like race control advisor.
I'm here racing in the Ferrari Challenge, Laura Villars. I race with Zenit Scuderia in the Trofeo Pirelli.
If you want, I will show you my office for this weekend, the race control.
Oh, it's a pleasure, but I'm going to show you also mine in the box.
So let's go.
So this is my pink car, the 296 Challenge. I decided pink because I'm the only girl from the Trofeo Pirelli AM. This is an amazing car. I have honestly nothing to say about it, just she's amazing.
She looks very nice, but honestly I know very well the GT3, the 296 GT3, not the Ferrari Challenge, 296. But you don't need my advice, eh? You have the experience, so good luck, enjoy and push. So this is my desk for this weekend, like a race control advisor. We see we have all the cameras to see what happened in the track limit, the crash or the car stop on the track. And here, particularly, I have this thing to help me to see again what happened on the track during the races or the practice, to help to judge what happened. So good luck for this weekend, and be king on the track. I have the eyes on the track.
I know. I'm going to be careful with my track limits, of course.
Good.
See you on the track.
See you.
It's an initiative that Ferrari have used at every Ferrari Challenge race, and that is to have a driver representative in race control as well, which is just fantastic because in race control they can see it from a driver's eye perspective in terms of some of the incidents and things that happen out there on track. And it was great to see Laura Villars, very talented young female driver, and of course Lilou Verdou, who of course is a Ferrari factory driver as well, just proving that the talented youth is great to see. It's also great to see the entertainer back out in the Ferrari Challenge, which is Timo Glock. We've got a minute before the race, Nico. Stand by.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to finish the thought, you know, we've had so many great and successful women in Ferrari Challenge over the history and the present. Michelle Gatting, Dorian Pin, Fabian Wolvent, who's coaching now. So many that it's actually, we hardly think about it because it's just so normal for us in the Ferrari Challenge to have female racers race, compete and win on a regular basis. So it's just such a great part of what makes this Ferrari Challenge so great.
Yes, there are so many examples of young ladies that have gone on to fantastic racing careers from being in the Ferrari Challenge. And young chaps as well. And Giacomo Altoe is one of those. He'll be going from pole position. we will bring you the grid in full when the safety car leads the cars away on their formation lap. It is such a big grid of cars, 26 of these wonderful 296 Challenge cars. Over 30 minutes plus 1 lap of the Circuit Paul Ricard. What a sight this is. There is the Lara Villars car. You can see the pink front end of the Lara Villars car. And okay, stand by, here comes the grid. Going from P26, David Akabadze. P25, it's Armin Arifpour. From P24, Matthias Thoman. And then it's Andreas Boris goes from P23. P22 for Otto Blank with Gianmarco Marzialetti right alongside. They complete row 11. On row 10, it is Laura Villars and Cameron Campbell. Welcome, Cameron, to the Ferrari Challenge. It's Danilo Dal Favaro and Axel Sardigan, P18 and P17, completing the 9th row. On the 8th row, we find Andreas Berg Sorensen and Herbert Geis, P16 and P15. P14 is James Owen. And then we see Max Mugelli. P12, Hanno Laskowski and Marco Zanazzi. They complete row 6 of our grid. And on the 5th row, Andrew Morrow and Hendrik Viol. They are P2 and P3 in class. Then it is Philippe Barron and Dylan Medler. They go from P8 and P7. Now the best of the AM drivers is Klaus Branson. He goes from P6. And then it's Luigi Coluccio ahead of Ben Svalint and Timo Glock. And then on the front row of the grid, it's Luca Ludwig. And pole position goes to Giacomo Altoe. So pole position once again for Giacomo Altoe, who did what he needed to do in qualifying. We wondered whether he'd left it too late, but he came out, did an installation lap, then did a hot lap and banked pole position.
Yeah, so another day, another pole position. It feels great to be again on pole for race 2. Really great lap. The car was amazing also today, so big thank you to the team. We really waited until the end to go out, so it was a bit risky, but at the end I managed to put 2 good laps for the pole position, and I'm really happy, so we try again in race 2.
Well done, Giacomo. You did leave it late, and you got us all quite concerned and anxious, to be honest with you, but it did pay off in the end, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. And now all the focus is on the race. The advantage that he had, he used very, very few laps to get the pole position, so his Pirelli P0s will be in the perfect condition to last throughout the race under these temperatures. Very, very important to have the longevity in the tires. So he has to try and keep P1 at the beginning, stretch his legs, and then really, really try and preserve his tires so they last throughout the race.
Well, it was a similar story yesterday. Now, Luca Ludwig, who was very, very quick at the start. In fact, he was too quick because he got a drive-through penalty. But Giacomo has got competition. You know, don't think he's going to run away and steal this race. I mean, he's going to have a lot of drivers that are going to be pushing him, including Luca Ludwig and Timo Glock.
Oh, Timo Glock, former Formula 1 driver. Yeah, I think he knows something about racing. Yeah, absolutely. The talent level here is so great, and it's going to be very exciting and very interesting. Tires, temperature, track limits. Those are probably the themes that we will be talking.
Yeah, I think you're right. So there you can see various drivers weaving through. And it's really interesting. Some drivers decide to weave from side to side to try and generate some temperature into the tires. Other drivers choose not to do that. It's kind of a personal decision, really. There's no right, there's no wrong. Will it work? For some, maybe. For some, maybe not. Right. Richard Mill's safety car has peeled off into the pit lane. It is the responsibility of Giacomo Altoe and Luca Ludwig to control the pace at the rolling start. Now, Luca will not anticipate the start, perhaps, quite as vigorously as he did yesterday, I would suspect. Let's see. All eyes on the lighting gantry then. And when the lights go out, we will be racing in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli live from the Paul Ricard circuit. Let's go racing. What a start. As the drivers head down towards turn number 1, Timo Glock gets a touch, Hendrik Viol gets a touch as well, but Luca Ludwig on the inside line has gone through to pick up P1, and that relegates Giacomo Altoe down to P2. Now another driver slingshot through the runoff area. I think that was Andrew Morrow, and various drivers taking to the runoff area to try and just avoid any contact. In the meantime, Timo Glock, I think it is, he had to avoid. So, well, I don't envy you, Lilu Wudu, in race control in terms of sorting this lot out as to who took advantage and who didn't of using the runoff area, Nico. because on track it's Ludwig from Altoe, from Timo Glock, from Luigi Coluccio. For the AM drivers, Hanno Laskowski with a blistering start finds himself in P2 ahead of Hendrik Viol, but Klaus Branson leads in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli AM. Wow. So, not one lap completed yet, into the chicane on the Mistral Straight for the first time of asking then.
And again, you know, drivers having to take off far away from the racing line. I mean, what happened here during the first lap had nothing to do with however the track was designed originally. Very, very creative lines taken. But the good thing is we lost none of the cars. Everybody's still running, and that's the most important thing.
And I think, in truth, those drivers that did take to the runoff area were doing so in avoidance to avoid making, I'm being very generous, making contact with another driver. But there are no doubt about it. Some were able to just glean a slight advantage. Right, it's Luca Ludwig, Giacomo Altoe, and Timo Glock. They are top three in Trofeo Pirelli. For Trofeo Pirelli AM, it's Klaus Branson from Hendrik Viol and Hanno Laskowski. That's the way it looks at the moment. Max Mugelli had dropped down to P11 in the race, and there is the number 33 car of Gianmarco Marzioletti that we could see there. So, first lap in the book then. Luca Ludwig ahead of Giacomo Altoe and Timo Glock. Now, Luca Ludwig was in this position yesterday. It was deemed that he had incorrect alignment on the start, and therefore had to take a drive-through penalty. Today, I didn't see anything wrong with what Luca Ludwig done. In particular, I'll be looking forward to seeing the replay of the start so we can, what's the expression? Try and pull the bones out of that as David Akabadze in car number 23 then. And here we can see it from the back end then as they headed towards the lighting gantry before we switch to the front end replay. So every driver is supposed to run through their grid box right at the start of the race. And you see Luca Ludwig there is right behind Giacomo Altoe, Nico. And he does run through his grid box. Lights go green. And I think Giacomo just bogged down a little bit at the start. That's why Timo Glock was able to take advantage as well, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was all clean. I'm surprised we didn't see anything on the timing screen, that race control is taking a look at what happened in race one, but all looked neat and tidy until the lights went out, and from there on out, I think track limits were somewhat optional. Especially here through the chicane, you can see one of the cars here will just go straight, and that is difficult to tell from that angle.
I called it as being Andrew Morrow, and I may have to apologise for Andrew. It may not have been him.
It's quite possible, and there on board, that is from row number 2. I think that is from Ben Svelland on board, yeah. And
see the car's braking. I mean, in fairness, from that onboard perspective, being with Ben Svelland, well, let's ride on board now with Luigi Coluccio, the Radici Automobili driver who's got Ben Svelland right behind him now. Luigi Coluccio then running in P4, Ben Svelland running P5, then it is Philip Barron and Dylan Medler. So Luca Ludwig has set the fastest lap, and the top two have broken away a little bit from Timo Glock, who's running P3. Then it is Luigi Coluccio, another talented young driver, Nico, who's here in the Ferrari Challenge and running ahead of another young, talented driver. And that's Ben Svelland, who is P4.
Yeah.
P5, I beg your pardon, it's P4 and P5, of course.
yeah, absolutely. And Radici Automobili, they engineered Eliseo O'Donnell to great success last year. And there is our lead group. Great shot camera work here from the drone as Luca Ludwig and chased by Giacomo Altoe. Like yesterday, as you alluded to, Ludwig really has got a great pace in the car, and he made the start work, and this time all neat and tidy. And Klaus Branson, he's our leader in the AMs, but now, unlike at the start, he's got two AM drivers right behind him.
And those two AM drivers right behind him are really, really hungry for success as well, aren't they? Hendrik Viol and Hanno Laskowski. So, through the chicane, where you climb uphill a little bit, we follow Coluccio and Ben Svelland, then it is Philip Barron, then it's Dylan Medler. So Klaus Branson, Hendrik Viol, Hanno Laskowski, then it's Marco Zanatti and Andrew Morrow for the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. Luca Ludwig with maybe 0.8 of margin over Giacomo Altoe, but then they're about 2 seconds ahead of our P3 driver, which is Timo Glock. Right now, Hendrik Viol is really beginning to pressure Klaus Branson, I believe. So we're on board with Ben Svalint now, the Ferrari Budapest Rosso Corsa driver, running in P5. And he is chasing down the Luigi Coluccio car. And this is what it looks like from being on board with Luigi himself. Looking back at the all-black Ben Svalint front end of his 296 Challenge car in the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. I remind you, Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers racing together in this race. The Pirelli drivers with the red strip across the top of the windscreen, and the AM drivers with the white strip across the top of the windscreen. So the margin between Klaus Sebranson and Hendrik Viol, as we look at the gap between Coluccio and Ben Svalint, just looking on the timing screen to see the difference between P1 and P2 in the AM drivers, and at the moment, well, Klaus Sebranson is able to control that pretty well. I mean, he has been a supreme driver in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli AM, and for my money, Giacomo Altoe is now beginning to take it to Luca Ludwig, because Giacomo Altoe set the fastest lap. We run the telemetry on the Luigi Coluccio car, running in 4th gear, up to 200 kilometers per hour, very nearly. So we exceed the 220, 230, 240, as Luigi Coluccio is being tracked now by Ben Svalint. This is the fight that's going on for P4 in this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli race. We have seen overtakes into that chicane over the course of the racing over this weekend. And Klaus Sebranson, whilst he did have Hendrik Viol right on his gearbox, he has now broken away a little bit, and he's actually tracking Dylan Medler, and I just wonder if he'll try and get by Dylan Medler to give him the sort of comfort cushion of a Trofeo Pirelli driver between himself and the next charging Trofeo Pirelli AM driver.
Yeah, and that's a difficult decision to make, because obviously he would like to get by. Equally, he doesn't want to risk too much against a driver in a different class. Equally, if he feels like Dylan Medler is holding him up, that would effectively push him back into the competition in class. So it's kind of like, what do you do? Where do you take the risk? Do you take the risk in overtaking, or do you take the risk by not overtaking?
Yeah.
Sounds paradoxical, but sometimes that's how motorsport is.
Yes, and the gap between Luca Ludwig and Giacomo Altoe is just 7/10, and there you can see it visibly as the cars, and you can see that Giacomo Altoe on the last lap, Nico, was 4/100ths quicker.
Yeah, the two are really chasing each other at very similar speeds. Now, if Altoe can get on terms with Luca Ludwig, that has an advantage, but it potentially could bring Timo Glock back into this battle if it slows those two drivers down. So, you know, strategy again playing a big part in how do you approach this, or do you try to just stretch your legs and try to get up the road, both of you, and then schedule the attack almost for a later point in time?
Possibly. So, fastest lap from Giacomo Altoe, then a 2:03.385. Now, bear in mind, not only do you have the honor of setting the fastest lap in the race, but it also garners a point as well. So if you set the fastest lap in the race, you get a point. At the moment, fastest lap in the race for Trofeo Pirelli is with Giacomo Altoe. For the AM drivers, it's with Klaus Sebranson. So there you can see the progress chart on the left-hand side of your screen, who's gone up and down. And a number of drivers making very important moves in that Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli AM race. But I refer to the point that the top two are breaking away, and I really rather think that what you're saying is correct in that maybe Timo Glock might still form part of this over the remaining 20 minutes or so, depending on how fraught the fight becomes over P1. For now, Luca Ludwig is able to show a clean pair of heels to Giacomo. I just wonder whether Giacomo, very young, talented driver, is he using his head here and thinking, I'm not going to run in the dirty air behind Luca for lap after lap after lap. I'm going to pick my moments. I don't know. I'm not in the cockpit of the car.
It's a good possibility. A very ominous message from race control a few seconds ago. The incidents in turns 3 and 4 are under investigation. And we now get a resolution, and that involves Timo Glock. A 10-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage here. It's also on your screen, and he did go stray very far from the grey stuff, it has to be said. Now, was he forced off the track? Potentially. Did race control consider that he maybe exceeded that a little bit with all his Formula One experience? I think probably that's a interpretation that race control has taken on that incident. So 10-second penalty for Timo Glock, and that brings Luca Colucci on a provisional podium position.
I have to say, I didn't see Timo lift.
No.
I think he kept his foot absolutely buried. Now, basically what that means, and the team will have advised Timo of this, so basically Timo has just got to make sure he's got a 10-second advantage over Luigi Colucci to hold on to his P3 place. We'll see. Well, it's easy for you and I to say, perhaps less easy. Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Well, there's someone else, and that's James Owen, I believe. No, is it James Owen? I think it is. The Meridian Modena driver there has dropped down, so it was James Owen then. So, back to Luca Ludwig and Giacomo Altoe then, as the gap remains at 8 tenths between the two of them, and Giacomo has been very, very sensible, and he's a very young, talented driver, but he's a mature driver as well. And will he be thinking about, do you know what? I'm not going to risk everything to win the race. Banking the points for P2 is probably more important for me. As Luca Ludwig has now set the fastest lap, Nico, in the race. So the point advantage that Giacomo Altoe had for setting the fastest lap has just been taken away because Luca Ludwig has gone a bit quicker.
How dare.
Yes, quite.
Yeah, but it's, as you can see, it's really, really close. And will we see? No, yeah, and indeed, that the fastest lap has been usurped again. Giacomo Altoe does take it back, so that point flip-flops a little bit. There is Timo Glock, and there is the battle for P4, P5 on the track, actually P3 and P4, and there is Klaus Branson, leader in the AMS.
Any impression that we had that Klaus Branson may not risk trying to get past a Trofeo Pirelli driver, I think, is misplaced. I think Klaus will do everything he can to get past Dylan Medler, irrespective of category, just to give him that cushion between himself and Hendrik Viol. It has to be said, Klaus Branson's got a good margin of advantage over Hendrik Viol at the moment, but the top three in Trofeo Pirelli AM are Klaus Branson, Hendrik Viol, and Hanno Laskowski. Top three on track in the Trofeo Pirelli are Luca Ludwig, Giacomo Altoe, and Timo Glock. But do bear in mind that Timo Glock has got a 10-second penalty overhanging, which will be awarded at the end of the race, and that would take him out of the podium places at the moment, because his margin between P3 and P4 is but 2 seconds, and he needs a margin of at least 10. That's probably going to be quite a tall order, I would think, with the 16.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining.
Yeah, absolutely. We do get the information that Laura Villas, who we met so eloquently at in the pre-race segment, she has been given a 5-second penalty due to track limits, and that pushes her further down the order. Another driver in strife with track limits is Philip Barron, one driver who's always going to attack everything that's ahead of him, including track limits, and he's also now at 3, and that means he is really running the risk of being penalized for track limits as well.
Yeah, the deal is, I think you get 3 warnings, don't you? But then on the 4th warning, you attract a penalty. And that penalty then, if you repeat offend, the penalty gets increased by 5-second increments?
Yeah, it's 5, then it's 10, then it's 25, if I remember correctly, and then you're at the mercy of whatever Claudio Garavini, our race director, deems the penalty du jour.
Oh, hark at you with your French. Right. And this is Ben Svalin then, who's chasing down Luigi Colucci very, very hard here. But you see, Ben Svalin is also being chased hard by Philip Barron. So he's in this invidious position of chasing and being chased at the same time. So what he doesn't want to do is leave himself vulnerable, Nico, to Philip Barron, who we know, if Philip Barron has given half an invitation to see a gap, he will make it a 296 challenge wide. That's for sure. This is our race leader, Luca Ludwig, who's got just under half a second's advantage over Giacomo Altoe. Then it is Timo Glock, who is a further 5 seconds behind, or 5.5 seconds behind. Such is the pace advantage the top two have here. They do have, of course, clear track ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to keep you an update on the Timo Glock experience, he's got now 3.7 seconds of an advantage over Luigi Coluccio. So that 5-second penalty, he might make up 10. Still a tough order, but he's pushing. You can see he's really trying to move up the order.
Timo will do that. Of course he will. And of course, the best thing for Timo is for Luigi Coluccio and Ben Svalint and Philip Barron and Dylan Medler all to have a really good battle between them, because that will slow them up.
For sure.
And that means he can just escape up the road. I mean, he'll do every lap as if it's a quali lap. So this is far from over yet, with 14 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. We're live from the circuit Beauregard for Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am. We're watching our top two here, Luca Ludwig and Giacomo Altoe, where the gap has been maintained at about half a second between the top two. We ride on board with Giacomo Altoe chasing down Luca Ludwig, and now we go on board with the Luigi Coluccio car, who's being chased by this man, Ben Svalint, another young, talented driver, who's got Philip Barron not far behind him as well. There indeed is the Philip Barron car, driving car number 91. So these three, it's P4, 5 and 6. Then Dylan Medler, who is being hounded almost by Klaus Branson, who is the best of the AM drivers at the moment. Klaus Branson, who has had a fantastic season in the Ferrari Challenge. And if Klaus Branson is able to take P1 in this race, it will be 4 straight wins in a row in Trofeo Pirelli Am for Klaus Branson, which is a remarkable achievement.
Absolutely. He had a tough time of it before, always had the pace, but some misfortune, some incidents, and some problems, and he has really kept his calm, has recovered, and now he's really streaking in the positive direction, and he doesn't feel as there is one back-marking car, and very gentleman-like, taking very much avoiding action and not trying to get mixed up in any overtaking or any battles. And this is still our lead group, and you get the impression that Giacomo Altoe might be able to be a little bit quicker, but...
Well, we can see from the graphics that Ben Svalint and Philip Barron and Dylan Medler and Max Mugelli have all got past Luigi Coluccio. So Luigi Coluccio then has been in strife, unless that's a transponder issue, Nico.
We will find out. It's certainly something to keep an eye on, and is that going to tell us something?
Well, rather think Luigi Coluccio then, as we ride on board with Ben Svalint here. Yes, he got out of shape, did he not? And Ben Svalint was able to initially go through. And
it may have been the red car that we saw off track there. And
yeah.
That means that maybe he picked up by being too aggressive over the curbs. Maybe he picked up a puncture or whatever. We don't quite know. We will find out. But that certainly drops him way down the order. As we see, there is Villars.
Oh, and that then is a strife for Otto Blank and Laura Villars. Now Otto Blank, and behind him, Poetry in Motion, as two cars go side by side together there. And I believe that's, well, that is Laura Villars, and also the 33 car of Cameron Campbell, I think.
Yeah, all the things now happening at the same time. So maybe it was Otto Blank whose presence was the catalyst of what happened behind him, but no fault for him. And now we've got a penalty in Trofeo Pirelli for Max Mugelli, who in fairness is running in P10 overall, not troubling the cars in front of him. So not a big effect on the race outcome for the moment. Philip Barron, the most perilous of the top 6 drivers, because he has accumulated 3 warnings, so he really has to be careful.
This is Luigi Coluccio then, the Radici Automobili driver coming into the pit lane, Nico, so maybe you're right, maybe he's picked up a deflated tyre or something, and yeah, he's had to bring the car into the pit lane. The Best Lap team standing by to receive Luigi Coluccio. You can see the air jacks there, ready to bring the car up, and oh no, the belts have been undone by Luigi. What a great shame, because he was doing a great job, and it's great to see him in the Ferrari Challenge. As you can see, quite a few time penalties have been awarded now to various drivers. No such things to Luca Ludwig or Giacomo Altoe. But what has that done really for this P3 position? Because please bear in mind that Timo Glock has got a 10-second time penalty against him. Therefore, he needs to finish at least 10 seconds ahead of our P4 driver, which is Ben Verlind, and I don't think he's got enough, has he?
No, he's just under half of that, so he's got, as you can see now, 4.759, so he would need to add another 5.3 seconds to that, and
Ben Verlind has got 2 track limits.
let's not go there.
Okay.
Let's not go. Let's not go
Just
there.
saying.
Obviously, Timo Glock will push and push, but you can see Giacomo Alto. He is not one for giving up, and you said it's difficult to run in the dirty air behind another car for lap after lap, and that's actually correct, unless you're Giacomo Alto and you just don't care.
Yeah, maybe so. So Luca Ludwig then leading Giacomo Altoe, and the gap has remained very, very similar for lap after lap after lap. It's been 5, 6, 7 tenths. That's all it's been between the top 2. I wonder whether Giacomo Altoe is thinking, I'm going to leave it towards the end of the race where maybe Luca's tyre deg will be greater than mine and try and have a go towards the end of the race. Giacomo Altoe certainly in qualifying did less laps than Luca Ludwig. Therefore, potentially might have more grip available to him towards the end of the race. I don't know. I can't think for a racing driver, for goodness sake. But we're just trying to ascertain what could be his strategy here.
Absolutely. What I think is interesting in terms of sector times, generally in the second sector, which is the quick sector, Luca Ludwig generally is a little bit quicker and stretches his advantage, and then in the technical sectors,
He loses a bit.
it's Giacomo Altoe who narrows down the gap, and that might be an indication that Luca Ludwig's 296 is set up a little bit more for top speed, which allows Giacomo Altoe to get close, but the overtaking opportunities are obviously when you're very quick, so that would be a good setup for Luca for defending, as now we get another penalty indication.
That's academic, though, because that's for Luigi Coluccio, who we've seen into the pit lane and regrettably has parked the car. So, yeah, that's a bit academic. It's Luca Ludwig, Giacomo Altoe, and Timo Glock, the top 3 on track. And then for the AM drivers, Klaus Branson, Hendrik Viol, and Hanno Laskowski. And it's remained that way for a little while, but Giacomo Altoe definitely, Nico, is getting closer. The gap is down to just 3 tenths between P1 and P2. Giacomo Altoe means business now. He is trying with 7 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Luca Ludwig will metaphorically stick his elbows out of his 296 challenge car, engineered by Mertel Motorsport. He's up against the ML Fry racing driver, Giacomo Altoe. This is the fight that's going on for P1 and P2 between these 2 drivers.
Absolutely scintillating stuff, and even though we haven't seen an overtake here happen since the start of the race, it feels like it's possible that it will come any second, any moment. But Giacomo Altoe, I think his main strategy will be to try to push Luca Ludwig into a mistake.
Yep.
Good luck with that. It's not something we see every day, but all you can do in some situations is push as much as you can and then see what happens.
I think you've nailed that absolutely correctly. Luca is not renowned for being error-stricken, that's for sure. And he will, of course, be uber determined following his drive-through penalty yesterday. He is leading the race on track by supreme driving at the start of the race in this race too. He is not going to let that go away without some fight. However, Giacomo Altoe is really, really pushing. And Altoe got really, really close. And you're absolutely right. Between the 3 sectors, it is Luca Ludwig who's able to stretch his legs across the middle. But in the technical parts, this is where Giacomo Altoe is perhaps looking a little bit stronger. And of course, tyre deg will play a part now because we're reaching the final 5 minutes of the race plus 1 lap. So those Pirelli tyres have worked through qualifying, they've worked through the race as well, and Giacomo getting the benefit of a bit of a draft off the back of the Luca Ludwig car. He dives to the inside now, thinks better of it, discretion the better part of valor, and well, they complete another lap. I mean, the overtaking opportunities here, we have since seen some daredevil opportunities of overtake. Going into the chicane on the Mistral Straight, got to be really, really bold and brave and king of the late breakers, but we have seen it happen. Are we going to see it happen this time around? Not sure.
Well, look, a little bit of a slide, and that allowed Giacomo Altoe to get even closer to really, really be welded to the back of the Myrtle Motorsport car by Luca Ludwig, and now that is the closest that they've been over this part of the track. Philip Barron getting a drive-through penalty, or a 10-second penalty for also gaining an advantage. So race control still working on the start procedure, but you can see on that Mistral straight, it's just Luca Ludwig and his car setup working so perfectly, which is just, if you want to defend and you just want to keep the other car from getting on terms with you, if you've got the top speed, it makes it really, really difficult for the car behind you.
You are absolutely right. So Ludwig from Altoe, from Timo Glock, from Bensfeldt, Philip Barron, Dylan Medler, they are the top 6. Top 3 drivers in Trofeo Pirelli Am, Klaus Branson, Hendrik Viol and Hanno Laskowski. And now Luca Ludwig with a slightly different line initially around this long sweeping right-hander. So as they rotate the cars through the sequence of turns here, it's on these technical sections where Giacomo Altoe is able to really seize the ability to get a bit closer to Luca Ludwig. But then, as you identified from much earlier on, it seems to be the power parts of the circuit that play into the hands of Luca Ludwig. As they accelerate out of the final turn, Giacomo Altoe, he was very close to Luca Ludwig last time around. I think he is almost as close this time around, but perhaps not quite. In the Live Drivers' Championship, if everything finished right now like this, it would be 124 points to Giacomo Altoe.
Yeah, and Philip Barron, he's got that 5-second penalty, so that drops him not quite behind Dylan Madler, or actually, yes, it does. It drops him behind Dylan Madler, and that might change that live standing as Laura Villas unfortunately picks up another 10-second penalty for now being on 8 track limit violations. So she's struggling a little bit with control somewhere on the track.
So here we go again then with Giacomo Altoe pushing Luca Ludwig. I mean, 2 remarkably talented young drivers here. Undoubtedly, both impressing us as Luca Ludwig and Giacomo Altoe have maintained this sort of 4/10 margin between themselves for lap after lap after lap. I mean, from a consistency point of view, you could take nothing away from either of them, Nico.
No, absolutely. And I think Luca Ludwig has the confidence that when it comes to the, as we take a look at the replay, there is Hanno Laskowski on an attack on Henrik Viol with a slide, and oh, that could have gone very wrong, but he controls it and avoids clattering into the Scuderia Pra driver as Henrik Viol remains or held on to his P2 in class. To finish the thought, Luca Ludwig must feel supremely confident in he having a car where in the prime overtaking opportunity he feels relatively safe because he knows he will have the speed advantage going into that segment.
I think you're right. So Sabranson, then Hendrik Viol and Hanno Laskowski. Hanno is within 3/10 of Hendrik Viol. Hendrik, though, driving for the Scuderia Prague racing team. Hanno Laskowski driving for the ML Fry racing team. Both fine racing drivers in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Am. And I know this has been really, really enjoyable to watch. There's Timo Glock. There's Bensfeldt. They are P3 and P4. Bensfeldt, to be fair, I mentioned earlier on, he's got 2 track limits. He's not repeated those track limits violations, which has not played into the hands, unfortunately, of Timo Glock, you'd think. Klaus Branson, who has been behind Dylan Medler virtually all race long, Nico. And here comes Giacomo Altoe and Luca Ludwig. So this is for the lead of the race for P1. Luca Ludwig and Giacomo Altoe. They have been within tenths of each other for so many laps. There is only the remainder of this lap plus 1 more to do in this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli race. I mean, it's been masterclass defending from Luca Ludwig, but you can see the car is looking a little bit loose now. It's sliding around a little bit more. Is that playing into the hands of Giacomo Altoe? We will see as Luca Ludwig said earlier on, metaphorically sticks his elbows out to try and deny Giacomo Altoe.
Yeah, and simultaneously both have picked up a track limit violation, but That means Luka Ludwig is at 2, Giacomo Altoe is at 1, and I think that will just be enough. But so I think Altoe, if he wants to take that race win, he will have to do it on the track. He will have to do it all on his own out here at Le Castellet. The Paul Ricard circuit is only a few more turns plus 1 lap to do.
Well, the car's round then, the final sequence of turns before what will be starting the final lap in this race. And you can just sense as what a dive that was from Giacomo Altoe to the inside. Luka Ludwig has to run wide. Now, that was not traditionally where you would normally see an overtake, Nico. I think that Luka Ludwig just ran a little bit wide, and Giacomo saw the opportunity, seized it. Here comes Luka Ludwig to fight back as they go side by side into turn number 1. But Giacomo Altoe has got the momentum, and I dare say has got the grip as well, but Luka Ludwig is not giving this up without a fight. Side by side, this is for the lead in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. Extraordinary stuff. What an overtake that was from Giacomo Altoe. I can honestly say I was completely wrong-footed. I never saw that coming at all.
No, that was, and I think Altoe kind of knew that he had to do it in one of those parts at the end of the technical sector rather than into the chicane, and he made it work, and he really made it. And you could see Luka Ludwig was furious. He was trying to get back, but nothing doing, and I think that could have been, likely was, the move of the race.
Oh, the AWS move of the day, for sure. I mean, that change of direction, so late from Giacomo Altoe. Absolutely extraordinary, but he made it stick. So Giacomo Altoe leads the race from Luka Ludwig. Let's see it all over again. Rerun the fun. I mean, look at that. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'd love to see it from a frontal camera as well.
There you got it. There is exactly where he just zoomed into that gap, and Luka Ludwig, I mean, he ran really, really wide in trying to defend and come back, and
there's Giacomo's partner looking on and applauding, as do the Emil Fry team as well. Wow, wow, wow. We've seen some brilliant racing. Brilliant defending from Luka Ludwig for so many laps. Giacomo Altoe then, on the penultimate lap, through the final corner, had done enough. It was this corner where he did it. Right now, he sees the checkered flag await him. Giacomo Altoe wins in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli ahead of Luka Ludwig. Now, it's going to be Timo Glock, we think, that will cross the line to take P3. However, he has got a time penalty hanging over him. Here comes Benz Valint, who does inherit P3 because the time penalty to Timo Glock. Then it will be Philip Barron ahead of Dylan Medler. No, Dylan Medler ahead because Philip Barron has a time penalty as well. Klaus Zabranson wins for Trofeo Pirelli Am ahead of Hendrik Viol and Hanno Laskowski. Then it should be Andrew Morrow that will round the turn. Sure enough, there is Andrew Morrow, but there is Giacomo Altoe, Nico. That was a remarkable overtake.
A remarkable overtake and a remarkable race from both of the drivers, and we kind of speculated at the beginning that Giacomo would pick his time and then would he allow himself alongside with Luka Ludwig to just gap all the other cars and then make the move. And if that was the plan, that was textbook how to do it.
If it was the plan, I mean, he...
And there you... Sorry, yeah, there you could see Luka Ludwig giving Giacomo Altoe a thumbs up from the window, and I think that is a great sign of respect. The two drivers running side by side here on the lap towards the Parc Fermé, and that's a great sign. And there is our winner in the AMS. Sorry for cutting across you, but that was just a great moment of camaraderie and an expression of mutual respect.
I you know, just to blow my own trumpet because I've got absolutely no reason to so do, but you know, I did just wonder whether he was going to leave it till late in the race, and that was more to do with what I felt would be the fact that he'd run less in qualifying, and therefore he should have a little bit more grip. Giacomo said, by his own admission, he left it late in qualifying to set his pole position lap. Left it blooming late in the race, but you know, it was almost like he'd you know, researched it and knew what he was going to do, and he did it. Really impressive. Well done, Giacomo Altoe. And I have to say, big well done to Luka Ludwig as well for sticking his thumb out of the window and saying well done, because, as you say, the healthy respect between two of these extraordinary drivers. And what a race that gave us.
Yeah, absolutely. And here are the results.
Giacomo Altoe takes the win from Luka Ludwig, and Ben Svalin, Timo Glock finishes P4 ahead of Dylan Medler, P5. For the AM drivers, Klaus Branson, Hendrik Viol and Hanno Laskowski are the 1, 2, 3, and they finished ahead of Philip Barron and Andrew Morrow. Andrew Morrow occupying the P4 place, P10 overall. Then it was Marco Zanazzi, Max Mugelli, Danilo Del Favro, Axel Sardingen, Herbert Geis, David Akabadzi, Otto Blank, Andreas Berg Sorensen and Matthias Thoman. They ahead of Gianmarco Martialetti, Andreas Boris, then it was Laura Villas, Simon Arifpour, Cameron Campbell, and regrettably James Owen and Luigi Coluccio we didn't see finish the race. Now, round the car and look at this. This is P1 and P2. Luka Ludwig and Giacomo Altoe discussing that race. I mean, this is what we love about the Ferrari Challenge. That was just extraordinary. I honestly never saw that coming. I mean, that last-minute change of direction.
Yeah, it's just, it's just car control, because, it's difficult enough to drive at this level when you're in the rhythm. But that was a move that was totally out of rhythm, and you have to have supreme confidence in yourself, in the car, in the grip, in the ability to not clatter into the other driver. That was there. And I mean, Klaus Branson, he overcame adversity early in the season, and now he almost feels unstoppable.
I agree, yeah. Almost tempted to say he feels like he's kind of in a different class, doesn't it? There's Giacomo Altoe. That is a name we're going to hear a lot of in motor racing, I'm sure of that. Presence of mind, Nico. Just amazing, absolutely amazing. I remain spellbound and almost speechless, which many people will be thankful for.
No. There is Stefano Guy, who knows a lot of racing, commending him for that race as well.
Well, I don't know. You've got to ask him about that overtake, because that was amazing.
Wow, Giacomo, congratulations for this race. For the last lap, you made an incredible overcome. You started in the best way.
Yeah, for sure. It was a heartbreaking, a crazy race. Luca really did a great drive. It was super quick. I was struggling to keep up, but then I said, okay, last lap, I have to try. And then we had a really safe but also on the limit fight on track, so really good credits to him. But yeah, we won again, so really happy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you both delivered a great race, no question about that. Well done to you. Doubtless we'll be hearing from Klaus Branson as well. And there, look at that awards on the Giacomo Altoe car. Good to see. As you say, he's faced adversity at the early start of the season, but Klaus Branson has put all that behind him now, and by Jiminy, he's dominant in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli AM.
Klaus, congratulations to win in a row here in south of France. Can you tell us how do you feel in this moment?
This is just an amazing feeling. It was everything I hoped for, and I had to keep up with the pros this time, and it was a bit more hectic than yesterday, but it was a lot of fun.
Thank you, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well done, Klaus Branson. As the cars set off then for race 2 of Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli AM, you could see a number of drivers a little bit out of position. There was a touch between Giacomo Altoe and Timo Glock even before they got to turn number 1, and well, some 26 cars all heading into turn number 1. Many had to take evasive action and use the runoff areas, some using it to a little bit of an advantage, others not so. Riding on board with Andreas Berg Sorensen, you can see what the queue was like going into turn number 1, with cars going left, right, and everywhere. It was remarkable. James Owen having to take to the runoff area, and Luka Ludwig and Giacomo Altoe P1 and P2, and Klaus Branson was leading in the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. Well, there was lots of action going on all the way through the pack, and Marco Zanazzi was a driver that was looking particularly lively at this point in the race as he was chasing down And from the onboard perspective, you could see that there was a lot going on. Track limits would prove to be something of an issue in the race as well, and Lara Villars and Otto Blank in avoidance, and then a couple of pirouetting cars right behind Cameron Campbell and Lara Villars. Then the move of the day, as diving to the inside of Luca Ludwig, Giacomo Altoe on the penultimate lap, having sat behind the Luca Ludwig car for lap after lap after lap, managed to put it P1 and take victory in Trofeo Pirelli. And in the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers, it would be Klaus Sabranson who would be victorious. Wow, what a race. Such great respect between P1 and P2. Here come the race statistics then. Top speeds came from Luca Ludwig and Gianmarco Marzialetti. And fastest laps from Giacomo Altoe and Klaus Sabranson, both of course race winners, so hardly any surprise there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great race in numbers.
Two podiums to come, of course, Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli AM.
And just a shout out to Amin Arifpour for the Clean Slate Award of the race. He's the only driver who didn't pick up any track limit warnings, so shout out to him. He was the one who will be in good grace with race control. He kept it clean.
Well done, Amin Arifpour, great driver. There you can see once again the sort of badges of success for Giacomo Altoe on the side of his wonderful 296 Challenge car. Another positive aspect of the Ferrari Challenge is the fact that absolutely everybody in the paddock joins beneath the podium ready to salute those drivers that have delivered. And we are just moments away from the podium. Michele Mambelli will be the presenter who will bring the drivers out there for the podium celebrations. And there you can see there are teams and drivers and supporters and family and guests. And right, here comes Michele Mambelli then to bring the drivers out onto the podium. Benz Valent then to the step 3 of the Trofeo Pirelli podium. Luca Ludwig then, he should be proud of that P2. Here comes Giacomo then. What a move. Take the win. And time right now for the national anthem to play out for Giacomo Altoe as he does go to the top step of the podium. And of course, Emily Fry Racing will be represented because they will be in receipt of the Copa Teams Award. Lilu Wadu then, who she's had a busy afternoon in race control, I would suggest, Nico, because there were quite a lot of penalties and track limits and time penalties awarded during the course of that race.
Yeah, I tried to add up the time, the track limit warnings, and my calculator gave up.
So, Benz Valent receives his trophy, Luca Ludwig in receipt of his, and of course, Giacomo Altoe has got his trophy, and now Emil Fry received theirs. Here's Lucio Vigani from Pirelli to make the Pirelli Trophy Award to Giacomo Altoe.
And now all the drivers on the first step of the podium, or near the drivers in the first step of the podium, please. And Lucio Lilu as the manager. Okay, lift your trophy.
That's a great photograph. And then it will be down to the celebrations on the podium for the drivers.
The battle of Champagne.
Well, Luca was first with that. Top three cars then of their drivers. Benz Valin for Ferrari Budapest and Rosso Corsa. P3. Luca Ludwig for Mertel Motorsport. Based in Nuremberg, in Germany, take P2. And then Giacomo Altoe, driving for Emil Frey Racing, this wonderful Ferrari Challenge 296 car. It's another race win. Well done, Giacomo. In the Drivers' Championship, Giacomo Altoe, 28 points clear of Philippe Baron. And then it's Benz Valin, P3, Luca Ludwig, P4. Then it's Max Mugelli, Timo Glock, Luca Engstler, and Luigi Coluccio. They are the top 8 in the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Championship, with Franz Engstler, who we're hoping is going to return at Nürburgring next round, ahead of Dylan Medler and Jean-Luc Daria. Trofeo Pirelli Am podium to come. And the drivers you'll be seeing will be Hanno Laskowski, Hendrik Viol, and Klaus Sebranson. Here comes Hanno then, heading out onto the podium.
Second, on the podium, Hendrik Viol.
Scuderia Prague Racing, here comes Hendrik Viol.
And the winner is Klaus Sebranson.
And Klaus Sebranson then, another fine drive from the driver from Formula Racing. So congratulations afforded all round. National anthem to play out now.
On the podium, the team manager Formula Racing. Thank you, here the drivers. On the right, thank you.
Formula Racing represented, of course, on the podium as well.
Our official driver, factory driver, the trophy for
Lilu making the trophy presentations. Lilu Badu, the Ferrari factory driver. Hanno Laskowski has received his, Hendrik Viol has received his, and of course the Race Winners' Trophy will go the way of Klaus Sebranson. And of course, Formula Racing will be in receipt of the Copa Teams Trophy as well.
the team Formula Racing.
Well done. Lucio Fagani from Pirelli Motorsport makes the lovely Pirelli trophy presentation also to Klaus Sebranson. All drivers and trophy presenters get together then for the mandatory photographs.
On the first step of the podium and lift your trophy for photo. Okay.
Got me pen. Heavens. Oh, what a great photo that is.
Thank you. Leave the podium manager.
And now it's time for the drivers to celebrate on the podium. And it is by far and away Hendrik Viol, who was quickest, I think. So taking P3, it's Hanno Laskowski. P2 for the Scuderia Prague driver, Hendrik Viol. And P1 for Klaus Sebranson. Well done, Klaus. Championship standings in Trofeo Pirelli, and then Klaus Sebranson on 122 points, so clear 25 ahead of Marco Zanazzi P2 and Hendrik Viol P3, with Andrew Morrow P4 in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, ahead of Hanno Laskowski, Danilo Del Favero, James Owen and Herbert Geis. They are ahead of Angelo Fontana, David Akabadze, Axel Sardigan, Andreas Berg Sorensen, Gianmarco Martialetti, Kim Eriksson and Otto Blank. Dara Villars, Armin Arifpour, Anders Bidstrup, Matthias Thoman, Andreas Boris, Ruslan Sadriv and Jakob Bidstrup. Cameron Campbell making his debut in the Ferrari Challenge this weekend. So there we have it then. The next Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am race will be at the Nürburgring. However, we have a Ferrari Challenge Co-Michel Am race still to come. Please make sure you join us for that. But from Nico and from myself for the moment, thank you. Bye-bye.